if you're straining to understand why the DJED has anything to do with the ACA or adult childhood addiction, on the helping on the way to breaking out of the ACA baby stare, why that makes any sense, because it's the DJED pillar is just a symbol for the electric field, 4 rungs, 4 volts, 4 volts, 4 votes, and it's a charge, and it's for the electoral college. They kind of take a structure of the DJED, being like from it, like, it just goes into governance, because your vote is your currency with the governance. It has governance, and it's being used to name this governance, or the stable token for the DJED is Cardano. It has the DJED stable. It's a pillar with a base that's rounded and lined with yak oil for the lattices and pulleys to amplify the power of men and pack animals. But it's also good for, I'm not saying it, I'm saying it's good for, is a accumulation, absorption, and resonance, and it uses granite or basalt, because those are crystalline metals and crystalline stones with metallic fire, something like fiery temposity, right? And there's a lot of religion behind it, right? But the religion is because of those are the DJED, the people, right? The ancestor, the DJED, right? Religion about the DJED pillar, right? No, it's not enough for energy requirements for modern man, but those DJED people come back, right? And they come back as they're an extraterrestrial race that helps to break the adult child of addiction out of the ACA baby stare, which is a funnel vision. That's why I don't think Cardano's gonna make it, yo, because they're fucking around. They might do good for a while and make me look sheepish, but I don't even really care about that shit. Like, I don't even think that I don't even think Charles Hoskinson did a wrong. I don't think he did a foul. I think he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, what that white man is supposed to do. I don't hate him. I really don't fucking hate him. You know what I mean? It's just like, you could still get kicked out of his chat and feel like an asshole. You could still get kicked out of his Ask Me Anything and feel like a sheepish, like a Cretan. I wonder why, that those are, like, he's just somebody that is hired on for his science or something like that. His science, I mean, he don't even know. This shit is deeper than Tartaria and mud floods, which now I'm seeing that is real because of the evidence of buildings left behind by Hungarian Moors that practiced the noble arts. It's in San Francisco at the Palace of Fine Arts, and there's a couple more places that didn't get destroyed because we inherited a advanced. It's maybe a dimensional, 2 different dimensions crashed into each other, and they're bonded, like making heavy metal, like 2 neutron stars. And heavy metal is the metal that is the material that took the longest to make, are the heavy metals from the neutron stars colliding, right? those two dimensions, one of them was a highly advanced technological society, and back in the fucking 1800s. So there's pictures of horse-drawn carriages rolling up cobblestone roads with buildings that have obviously steel beams to keep them as tall as they are, that can't be transported by the technology, right? You could say, oh, that's hokum or it's conspiracies or whatever, but that shit, right, is not even as deep as the ACA baby stare. It's not even as deep as that. You know? So you want to talk about technology. If it's good technology, you won't not even see the technology. You won't even detect the technology. You know what I mean? It's how to get you to use it, how to get you to interface and interact, and then adopt, and then you have it, right? And I'm not trying to go antagonize anybody with provocative statements like flat earth or anything, because I'll tell you what the flat earth did to incur his maybe over the top kind of indictment, right? Is that they tried to come at the endlessness of perspective to try to say that they have because flat earthers are always like, you got to be a retard if you don't realize, and you got to be dumb if you don't see this, and you must be a fucking retard. They tried to come at perspective in a way to say that it is no longer endless, and that's why B.O.B. was trying to get proof of whether or not it's flat or it's round, but they fucking talk shit about B.O.B. now, like if you look up his stat, if you go online and you get his stat, it's gonna say that he's a flat earth guy. The thing is, people are just trying to show that it's something that, that's the next only way that you can really verify is to be able to see from up there. So why not? It doesn't mean that you subscribe. It doesn't mean you subscribe, okay? So that could, it's like the flat earth is a calamity for a conspiracy to try to kill God and then people walk right into it. You get slammed in a sarcophagus at a party, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying on, whoever fits the sarcophagus wins the sarcophagus, right? But then when you get in and you fit and everything, they slam it shut. They already took your measurements and everything. Okay, anyways, that's a whole other thing, because it goes into the pathology of science is getting a pathology, because you're adopting the belief in a sign. Your sign has to come from someplace with the control parameters for you to get a result that is a unique iteration that you can analyze it, right? Lick your own antimony, right? Because it's the holistic remedy is the gold of alchemy, right? Ask me if I'm even how you know this, it's because anything spiritual, people keep it longer. The evil one, right, gets slammed into an abyss, gets thrown into an abyss, but then let back out later to tempt man again, right? Memory on a computer, if you use the memory and then you erase it, you can use it again, but it's a little bit missing. And then again, with people, if we deflect, then we paint an illusory picture. There's no other outcome of deflection, which is why it's more obscene than cognitive dissonance. I don't mind cognitive dissonance. I get offended by people in denial. Denial is offensive, and people in denial can offend the public, and there could be the public versus yada yada and so, Benny and Junebug, right? So when you get out of jail, maybe steer clear of Benny and Junebug for a little while, right? Unless you're already on Instagram and TMZ and I does everything. If you do everything, ill, but I mean, that's ill, but you already let you know. I does everything, If I had something to share, you wouldn't even appreciate it, You're doing too much for everybody else for free and nothing for yourself, and have to stop. And it could be because the girls still give us a problem. You know what I mean? I'm not going to elaborate what that is. I'm not blaming. It's not the war of the sexes. Maybe I have the problem, and maybe girls give me a problem. So maybe that's why a lot of the drama and people will kill each other more over a female. Yeah. The DJED is here to help us circummitigate the savagery, right? Because we have it's pure. Getting on in there close to the language of pure destruction with no reason to it, and it's just kicking our ass. But we're gonna turn that energy around and wield it to affect some kind of a rise. Right. I'm not coming up with any of this. I always tell you I'm a content thief. Give me that. So I'm not gonna do that in a way that is like I'm gonna like sneak around and act like I'm coming up with this shit, because that's getting up there with religiosities again, turning shit into religion. It's kind of like, that's like that's criminal. I think that shit's criminal. Like John of God, Nexiums, shit. Those are the feds. That's the feds. Like the Scientology and shit, the DOJ or something. On some level, why would we tolerate the Scientology? Who doesn't, right? It's Russia. We would have shaken them upside down like Mussolini shook Aleister Crowley upside down, because you're wondering why he always lands on his feet. They only supposed to be scary to a plebs. You know what I mean? Oh, they have their building in your town. Somebody, if he's walking up the steps, somebody go walking up the steps into the Scientology building. Oh, shit. Oh, my God, dude. That's like, why did French invent Parmesan? Because they would always crumble, dude. Because they crumble. This shit is fucking just Lane Maxwell didn't kill herself, bro. Roman Polanski and fucking the Gulf of Tonkin shit. Oh my God. The only reason why we admire gonzo journalism is because Hunter S. Thompson didn't get arrested on the David Letterman show when he admitted that he enjoyed firing 50 calibers. When did you learn to fire 50 calibers? When you were dressing up as the Viet Cong or the North Vietnamese Army regulars and changing clothes into Marines and firing off in the jungle because it was a slow news day, and then reporting the convergence of the two sides That might be illegal. And the only reason we don't know that he's not gravy is because somebody dropped the ball. And maybe that was the intention of Sgt. Pepper's Reunion. You know, and then the question of why they spelled Beatles like a beat, because they did like the name Beatles because the Beatles are the most successful organism on the planet. 3 out of 5 motherfuckers is a beetle on the planet Earth. The beetle, the cerebellum of your head is like it's a scarab. It's the scarab beetle. That's why it's in all the Egyptian shit. The scarab, you know what it means? It's a symbol for the top of your head, for the brain. And the beetle skin has a blue-black substance that it creates that helps it to it's like there's a attraction to the Borealis something like they used back before the magnetic polarity of the Earth had flipped to where it is now. It was more visible. The Borealis is more visible, and it has something to do with radiation. When the polarities flips back over, the radiation will kill off a couple 100,000 people. Maybe like the COVID or some shit like that. Maybe in conspiracy land. That's just my brain thinking. You know what I mean? I can't make valid arguments or points right now because I'm reaching. But why am I? Why would you be reaching? You know what I mean? Why are there already symbols pointing to shit? And I don't even know what they use for because I've never translated the meta-narrative. Media, it's all multimedia. All of that pantheism, gods and everything. Like they were procuring multimedia because the only evidence of a civilization is a stone axe head. All the steel beams and everything, you know what I mean? All the shit corrode the air, the saline in the air. The salt is a little bit of a corrosive, and it will eat away at it after 500 years or some shit, like 5,000 years or something. It's gone. And they talk to it's like you have to acknowledge that they did preserve science and sublime in mythology because sublime mythology makes for grotesque history, and they had to guide their people back that forgot the science. They forgot, you know what I mean? It's like and so that's why in the OTO and shit like that, like the ones who wanted to get out realized that they needed to determine between it's like kind of like we are now. We want to know. You have to know who believes this shit that they're talking that is false, and who doesn't actually believe it. You know, like, but because people say things that they may not actually believe, and then there's people who know what they're doing, and they're putting that shit out there. You want to talk about who's a commodity and a protected class? It's dummies. Dummies are a protected class. All right, man. It's like I'm not gonna, like, I was so close this time to to try to get to where, but then I got taken off course again. But there's like lures you even see, I can see what they are, what I can go back and be like, oh, here's what you thought was more interesting than your point. It probably is. I don't know. I can't tell you because I'll never get there. It's my fault though. I'm the one who distracted myself. Because if I could tell you what I'm trying to do, it's not trying to deduce the criminal mentality and where it comes from and shit. That's not even what I'm doing. It's something else. Like, I think I've been given a side mission, and just because of my skill set doesn't mean that it's my mission either. It could just be even more of a curiosity, you know, because of the technology I'm using to do this. I wanted to see what is the limit case and shit. Like, there's different, but you could just read the TOS, but that doesn't, I don't, first of all, think that anybody who actually did read that shit knows until whatever malaise passes over why the rules are what they are, because they change too. They change all the time, constantly changing. And it's a little bit of curiosity, you know what I mean? Because there's some things that won't faze me because, you know, like, I never asked anybody for any money. But I'm not doing a service. Maybe I'm not doing a service for anybody else other than myself too. Because well, now I can't think anymore. I mean, I had the thought. What's important would be to try to convey it. But at least I have that. It just depends on whether or not I wanted to make another video, you know? It's like almost there. I almost can do it, you know what I mean? One push-up. It's one push-up. One pump. One push of the modality. Right. That's why we need the prayer of serenity, because there's some things you can't change and some things you can, and you need the wisdom to see the difference. Another modality is something you can inherit on the way out of here, out of this bitch, off the earth, off the planet. I don't even want to say dead because I don't know where you go. But a modality that is being built on, that you can hear that sounds like music, is hammering. You just love the sound of hammering, like working on a trebuchet. to yeet motherfuckers into the sun. That shit's fucking hilarious. Stop the hammering. You know what I'm talking about? Stop the hammering. Yeah. I can kind of hear that, you know, I can kind of hear the hammering, the tap. Because you wonder why motherfuckers look scared way before you even know why they're shook, and something like Wolf Blitzer or something, like where everybody thinks he's like the bomb diggy journalist and everything. Like, oh my God, he's brave. He's in Baghdad. He's like, that motherfuckers might not have even been in Baghdad at all. This motherfucker. You could do anything with a green screen, dude. You could make it a dark apartment room and shit if you wanted to, dude. And it was like fucking shock and awe is a whole movie production that they keep trying to get right. So at the same time, I'm trying to get to my realization. They are trying to get somewhere to distract the realization. Because once again, the dummies of protected class, they're really gonna miss us. Because psychopathy can't exist without a mark. But what happens? Where do they go? They don't die. Do they die? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, dude? What happens to all the narcissists when there's no more people to look at rims on your car, to admire your car? What happens to them? Like, do they cease to exist? The psychopathy ended when there was no more feeder fish people, when there was no more anybody in line for the Morlocks race to go underground. At the Time Machine movie, oh my god, they're gonna pound your bones into flour to bake their bread. Dude, that's some shit from fucking a children's book that I read about fucking fucking child's book scared the shit out of me, dude. Even when I was a kid, that fucking, if I would have just coughed right there and didn't like you feel like a little something in your throat, I would have thought it was a fly, and perhaps you'll die. So now you have to swallow a spider to eat the fly, and then you need, you know what I'm saying, something to catch the spider, because now you have a spider, you know, in your insides, crawling around in your insides, and so like, you eat a bird and a pig, you know, swallowed a horse. I don't know why she swallowed a horse. She's dead. And then that's how the song ends. She's dead. What the fuck, nigga? Why they trying to do us like that, guys? How they gonna do us like that? We was too young. We were too innocent for the color orange. You know, it was too soon for us to see the fucking color orange. Damn. And the smiting of the beast is real too. It's considered disrespectful when you bust my head. When you bust my head, when you dash my brains to bits, that's disrespected. And but it seems like almost I can understand why it's you know what I mean, it's that fine line between the apricot and getting your head 3 times and then you take a picture, because that depends on if you're high up, and if you're trying to go multilateral, that might be extracurricular bullshit. That might be considered extracurricular. I don't know. I'll just do the logical thing and just do whatever I can to have friends then. I don't know. I'll just go where the friends go, because they're always right. Nope, your friends are into the child abuse, but because they think they're fucking trolling, but they're, you know what I'm saying, you can suffer. Like, somebody have to suffer for them not having a good time, because if you're trolling, you can't get mad. You know what I mean? And if I'm a lemming and fucking won't disseminate information for myself, then somebody else can regurgitate that shit, and I'll swallow it, and I'll eat it. Get the munchies. You know, the true history wouldn't be too painful for us if it wasn't already impossible for us to process it, given that you're taking down lionized characters that are still human, but they did something for us. So that even after we take them down, maybe that was wrong, because they did something for us. You know what I mean? We just have to get to the bottom of what this shit is. Because, like, you know, whether or not Malcolm was a Mason or something like this, or like Martin Luther King was an agent, or some, like, you can say only so much, and then you gotta like know why what the point is, because like fucking you don't get too close to your heroes, because then you have the Mandela effect from getting too close to your heroes. You've seen what happened with that, right? Mandela never got out of prison. He died 2 different deaths on 2 different occasions. And I don't know whether anybody's willing to talk about it, but it documented the fact that him and his wife wrapped Christians in tires and fencing, wrapped them up with the fence and put tires on them to keep them wrapped up, and lit that shit. And they got burning rubber on top of their skin. So I don't know, but I mean, I remember going to a Nelson Mandela rally with my dad and my sister in support and being enthusiastic about Nelson Mandela. Yeah. Yay. I don't know how you want to process that. You know what I mean? I'll leave it up to you. I didn't even tell you how I felt about him. I just told you about him. I didn't tell you what I think about him. I don't know if I can't. I don't know if it's pertinent or relevant. You know what I mean? You could like or you could dislike. It's like somebody's always going to be happy about whatever happened. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be somebody making somebody a boner to want to fuck somebody over a barrel. Yeah. With your own dick. Like what happened with Mike Tyson talking about... Is Mike Tyson was a loose cannon shit. Remember that? You know, I'll bite your ear off. I'll eat your kids. And then threatening other men with rape. And he's straight. He's not even gay. The pigeon became a symbol. You know what I mean? You can get kicked off Instagram for a pigeon logo or something too now. It's like a symbol for Mike Tyson turning his life around and becoming a different person. It's flying pigeons and shit like that. Yo, niggas is crazy. We're crazy. We're like coming out of this lethargy. And I guess, like, shit, some of them boule are not even all that bad. Like, it's just something like whether or not they're willing to talk to you or something like that. You know what I mean? Whether the Masons are willing to talk to you because they've seen you and shit. They'll let you go off on they fucking if you start using their signs and shit, signals and shit, and you're not one of them, pisses them off. I did one before. I made a Masonic gesture at some cops to see what was happening. Because they were following me around and shit. And instead of being like, oh, you guys are profiling me and shit, I made this gesture. I made a 45-degree angle with my feet. You keep your feet at a 45-degree angle when they're planted on the ground. And I went like this to the cops. They liked it too. They weren't mad. Like, you put up your hands. I went like this, like tilted like this, because that's a Masonic symbol. It's not this. And they made this face like this is. And then every now and then they drive past me and they their eyebrows go like. like that. So can you tell me if they're mad? Can you tell me if they're mad at me? All right, that's it.